Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others none other than Kurt, Kay, Micah, and Malachi. Armour and Sons.
Hey guys, how's everyone? Welcome to Armour and Sons. Sorry if I'm not very enthusiastic and excited. I'm coming to y'all because I got up this morning, got ready to go to my doctor's appointment. Armour Dad came and picked me up, and we got to the hospital for my appointment, and they pretty much told me that we are only going to be able to see you. You can only enter the building, and your husband is going to have to wait outside until you're done. And I was already frustrated when they told me that. And so we asked to speak to their superior. And after a while of someone finally coming out, they decided to say, okay, we'll let you both in the building, but he has to wait in the waiting room while you go inside and see the doctor by yourself. So I still didn't want to do it that way, but I went ahead and compromised and said okay. So we went upstairs, and keep in mind they also said that if when I go inside that we can FaceTime, so at least he can hear and see everything as if he was actually in the room or actually beside me. So when I go inside and they take my blood pressure and they take my weight, the nurse says, she saw me on my FaceTime with my husband, and she goes, you can't FaceTime until the ultrasound. And I said, no, we just had a whole conversation downstairs with your superiors, and they said that we can have the phone the whole time while I'm in here so he can see everything. And so she said, well, no, that's only during the ultrasound. That's the doctor's rules. And so I still didn't turn off my phone, because I'm like, this is my visit. This is how, if I want my husband there at all times, and I'm compromising by saying, okay, I'll use FaceTime. You're not going to deny me from using my phone. Is there a virus going to come through the phone? I don't understand what their reasoning is for this. It just didn't make no sense to me. So I kept it on, and then I went and I did the whole urine test. I came out. She brought me into the room, and she said, okay, here's all the stuff you need to do. And I reconfirmed that you cannot have your phone on until it's time for the ultrasound. And then she just walks out the room. Armour Dad is on the phone with me. I told him what she said, and at that point I just decided I didn't want to be there anymore, and I walked out of my appointment. It's just so frustrating that, I understand that people are under a lot of cautionary protocol, and they're trying to do all these things to protect people. And I'm fine with compromising some things, but the whole FaceTime thing, it just didn't make no sense to me. I mean, no one's going to be infected by the phone call. I think it was just a power trip. I just felt like they just wanted to control and do the things that they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. I don't know, to feel like they were superior. I don't know what it is, but it just didn't make sense to me. And then they're saying there's a possibility that I might have to deliver by myself. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And I'm frustrated. And I know Armour Dad is frustrated. He hasn't said much, but, it's just too much. It's too much. How you feeling?
I just want to piggyback on, what you're saying. I understand everybody, some people, and I don't want to say everybody, some people are under a lot of pressure during this time because of the pandemic, this coronavirus, and a lot of people believe that the cases that have been reported, and again, they're only reporting the cases that the most. They're reporting the cases the most, dealing with those who are infected. But they're not giving the statistic between both the infected and those who are cured, or and also those who have not been tested positive. So I just believe that a lot of this stuff is propaganda. I'm not saying that the virus does not exist, but I believe a lot of it is propaganda and is being pushed into society, into our environments, and it's causing the world to change from, being fearful. It's causing the world to change. When we got there, they had it set up like it was an actual creatine, quarantine setup. They had two lines. They had 6 feet apart, and they had cones that separated the lines, and they had assistants. Everybody's outside with masks on, and they're checking your blood pressure or your temperature. Your temperature. They're checking your temperature before you go in, and they're asking you various questions about what do you feel. Do you have what is it, coughing? Have you been shortness of breath? Have you been coughing and things like that? Okay, I understand that.
I get that.
Okay, but before we went in, we were getting ready to leave from the jump. We were like, this is too much. First, our thought was, why wasn't we notified? Mm-hmm. You don't have to personally contact every patient or everybody who has an appointment. Technology is so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting emails from restaurants and grocery stores and all this stuff about the coronavirus. So how hard is it for Kaiser to send the same email and say, okay, this is the new protocol? I work for a state agency and we deal with the public. The public knew the changes we made as far as servicing them online and on the news. So they were aware of how we were going to be running things before they even got to our building. So they know about the 6 feet. They know about, you can't come in without this and that. We explain this to them. We show up to an appointment, and it's just like, what is this? I mean, it was a long line outside, and it was crazy. And like I said, I understand precautions, but when you take it into the point where you feel like you can be superior and run everything and say, well, there's no FaceTiming. What does FaceTiming have to do with the virus?
Exactly.
Nothing.
And the visit is about the patient. It should be what the patient want. And it just seemed like it was like you said, it was more so of a power trip. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, her regular OBGYN is out of town.
She's out of town. Never met this lady.
And we've never met this person who's supposedly be handling most of her patients while she's gone. And I just thought it was very inconsiderate, knowing that you've never met my wife as a pregnant woman, and or even the father, myself, and only to pretty much deny us from experiencing the totality of this. I've never missed, out of all four of my sons, I have never missed a visit. I've always been by my wife's side. Always been to a regular visit, even if she wasn't pregnant. I've never missed a visit, all the way, and always there. And I get to the hospital or the clinic today, only to have somebody else take away that privilege from me, that opportunity to try to delete my streak of being father of the year. I'm just gonna say it. Doggone it. Father of the decade. Being in my kid's life matters to me. Seeing my wife go through the stages of her appointments and being there, that matters to me. That matters a great deal to me. It may not matter to a lot of other people, but it matters to me.
And it matters to me to have that support next to me.
And so I'm tired of hospitals not being understanding concerning these type of situations. You know, when you have pregnant women and you already go through emotions. So now you're putting, more women under stress after they're dealing with their pregnancy, after they're going through the changes in their body, after they're going through, the highs and lows and everything. Now you want them to be understanding when they get to the clinic and they're being told that they have to enter into a clinic by themselves when they didn't come by themselves. And they have to sit there, those who have, husbands and fathers of their children that's been always there at the visits, they have to sit there for the very first time by themselves. You don't understand the emotional break that can take place, or the anxiety or the worry, like wondering, what's going on. And even vice versa from the male standpoint, those who really care and want to be there. Man, it was just no way we was going to roll with that. So we were able to, they went and got whatever superior, they came back and they said, okay, we'll let you in. Because first they denied me from getting in anyway. And then, I'm going to tell you what happened. See, you have to, it's important to listen. It's important to be intellectually sound so that you can be able to communicate with anybody. I'm sitting up here, we're communicating with these doctors who've been to medical school for years. Let me tell you something. God gives us six senses, and He gives us intelligence, common sense. In our questioning, to find out what was going on, why the changes were being made, it ended up turning out that what they were enforcing was recommendations. When that doctor said to me that this is a recommendation that has been sent to us, and I said, wait a minute, a recommendation? I said, see, recommendations and mandates are two different things. So you pretty much following a protocol of what somebody else is doing that you necessarily don't have to do, that you necessarily don't have to enforce. If in fact it's a recommendation, so they're doing this in a lot of hospitals, y'all. It's not even mandated. It's just a recommendation. It's not something that is law. It's not something that is in stone. It's not something that, it has to be done. It's a recommendation. And this recommendation is causing patients and mothers and fathers, husbands and wives to frown upon this and turn away. And turn away from this recommendation that does not have to be enforced. Now, if it's mandated, then, we really don't have no leverage or anything to say. I'm telling you, we went to the top on this thing.
And that didn't even matter, because when we told her response to me was, well, how come you just didn't comply with what the doctor was saying as far as just waiting till the ultrasound?
And she was the one that
who said it was okay to do the FaceTime anyway.
Who let us in? Said you guys can FaceTime. This was the hospital administrator over the entire clinic. She gave us the green light. And I kind of feel like they just said that just to get you in there, knowing that the doctor is not going to allow it. Because
I told you, I saw that same woman upstairs when we was on the phone when we was doing the blood pressure check, and I said, wait, hold on, because you were talking to me about something. I said, wait, the lady that was downstairs just walked in there with the doctor. but I couldn't hear what they were saying.
The administrative?
Yeah, she was up there. She
I
went
didn't
up
know
there.
you was talking about her.
It was her.
See, so there it is. See, it was just to get my wife in there by herself, to make her appointment, to get the count. Because they knew that it wasn't going to slide. They knew that it wasn't going to follow through. And so how can you, over the entire clinic, tell us, okay, we're going to let you in? Because they weren't supposed to let me in, but I raised sand. Spiritual sand. I wasn't going crazy. But I'm not finna sit up there. I intellectually explained myself, my right to be where my wife is concerning any of my kids. And when you do things, the right way, you get what you're asking for. And so I was able, while everybody else was sitting on the bench, they came and got us and said, you can come in, sir. And they put a tag on me. Checked my blood pressure, checked my temperature, gave me a tag. I went inside and they told us that we can FaceTime. We get there, we FaceTime. They even told us turn the phone on now before you get into the clinic so that you can already be ready. So we did that. I got both the phones, called her phone, gave her phone back, and we went upstairs. We get upstairs, we're waiting. They call her in right away. Get to the back, and the nurse, all I hear is a bunch of gibberish in the background, and my wife ain't saying nothing. And she come back to tell me that the doctor said that she can't. Watch this. The doctor said she can't FaceTime while we're going through this proceeding.
Right.
And so I said, who said that? She was like, the nurse who was taking my blood pressure. Now, mind you, she just went inside and sat down with the nurse to take her blood pressure. So my question was, hey, how did she talk to the doctor and when did she talk to the doctor? If you just got in there and she didn't walk past you to go talk to nobody else, she sat right there with you.
Right.
That's because they had it already planned. Before we got upstairs, they already had discussed that it was not going to be FaceTime throughout the visit. And they shouldn't have told us that.
And then I was like, well, what's the difference? Why does it matter if it's only through the ultrasound? She was like, well, your doctor's going to be discussing your medical history. And my husband knows all about my medical history. What does that have to do with anything? If he was standing here inside, like in any other normal visit, he will hear the medical history then. So what's the difference? Yeah. And she couldn't even say nothing. She just shut her mouth because she had nothing to say. And then she got up and went back into the doctor's office.
I really think, I know, and it's that a lot of hospitals are not for families. They really don't care, especially about, fathers who are there, who are, in the lives with the wife and the children. Being a family man, they're not for this. You would think they would advocate at least these type of situations where versus you have a pregnant woman who does not have anybody there to visit versus those who are pregnant who does have someone there. Why would you make them who have somebody there similar to those who don't? I'm not going with that. That's not okay. If you as a man, I'm talking to the brothers, if you there, man, fight to be there. You shouldn't have to fight to be there, but this is just society. They don't want the man. They don't want fathers in the woman life or the child life. That's why they separated the way they do. That's why they a lot of these things that mothers can get is only based on the father not being there. It's only based on the father being absent. And so this is how these hospitals are being ran too. Because they always, every child we've had, from child one, they've always ended the delivery. Do you want your tubes tied? Do you want contraceptive? Pretty much prenatal, what is it called?
Prevention.
Pregnancy prevention. They're trying to eliminate You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to eliminate children from being birthed. And at the same time, they don't want fathers in there. I remember when we had our son Mally, they would not let me come visit and it wasn't even a pandemic. They wouldn't even let me in the room. And we're like, wait a minute. Babe, you need to say something about this, because why come I can't go in there? Oh, because they're going to be asking her questions, and and this is, matter of fact, this was before we knew she was pregnant, but we went to find out if she was pregnant by their standards. And they would not let me in on that visit. Man, at least that's what they thought. Because I was up in there. You're not finna stop me from going into my wife's first visit to see if in fact that on the record, we know she was, but to see to your standard if she is. No, we wasn't finna do that. I was sitting right there. I wasn't taking no for no answer. Some of this stuff, just be put out there just to see if you're gonna bite, just to see if you're gonna give in. I'm not the one. We ain't the one. We not finna sit up there and be denied nothing. Especially if we're not supposed to be denied. No, that's not okay. That's not okay. So it was disappointing. It was a visit that meant so much. A visit that was, designed to be full of joy for the both of us. Turned out to be sorrowful, but we're gonna get through this though. We're not gonna let this get us down. It is what it is for today. But listen, I'm not finna sit up there and just let this ride. I went to the top, I'm going higher. Because it just ain't no way that fathers should be denied the opportunity to be in the room with his wife who's carrying his child.
And then they said, when we asked why, what's the reason? So they said that the exam room is small, and that it's not as far as social distancing, that the whole 6 feet away from each other, the room is too small for that. So that's how they got it to the point where we're like, okay, we can understand that. Okay.
But the doctor ain't gonna be 6 feet,
right?
If it's 6 feet, right, from each other, the doctor gonna be all up on you.
Yeah.
Versus me being all up on her. How we know the doctor ain't contagious?
She around it more than we are, so how we know?
How in the world do anybody who is having a child who has a prenatal visit is going to their doctor, their OBGYN, and they all up in the face asking questions, have to examine her, have to give an ultrasound. You can't get, you got a 6-foot cord to do an ultrasound to put on the stomach to see the baby on the screen? No, you don't. Do you have an expected gadget arm so you can stretch it across the room? No, you don't. Man, please. That was funny, expected gadget. We need to call expected gadget if it's that serious. Nah. Nope.
So we just wanted to come on here and express our what's the word? I don't even know.
We want our concern, because this is a concern for all those who are expecting. Listen,
I'm frustrated. I'm just being honest. I'm frustrated as well.
And you should rightfully so. You have a right to be frustrated, but I don't want you to stay frustrated. I don't want the baby to be frustrated either. But I understand. I'm not frustrated. I'm thinking of ways to try to beat this system, because, like I said, recommendations is not mandatory. You messed up when you said recommendation. So when she said that, hold up, Dean. Recommendation? Nah, that's not a mandate. Y'all just doing stuff to be doing it. And I let people know. I'm gonna tell you too. when in the beginning, well, we didn't tell them this part. I went in. I went real spiritual with everybody out there. I started preaching. I ain't gonna even lie. When they sat up there and said, you know, we in a pandemic, I said, no, we not. I said, y'all taking this too far. All y'all out here with a mask on. You know, because y'all sitting up there listening to all this stuff that's going on. Let me tell you something. The blood of Jesus covers. You covered by the blood of Jesus, by your faith. You can't be touched. Stop going on. When I said that, that man, I don't know who he was. He went, he took off. He took off like a light. Went straight to the back and came back with a report. He was on the phone working. Let me tell you something. When you put God first and you call on the name of the Lord and you put his name on display, because that's exactly what we did, and you call on the blood, it will cause people who are not normally moving in him will move on behalf of him for his children, because we're his children. That man left, came back, he was on the phone talking with the doctors, and he got me in after I was denied to get in. And he got us to be able to get on FaceTime, and he communicated that, and only for them to conspire, other people who was against him went around and conspired against what he suggested. And there you have it. We was up in the room looking at FaceTime, looking at each other. My baby was looking good too. I'm telling you. She was like, I was like, hey babe, we sit, look, just like she was sitting over there, we had FaceTime before we got up there. She was sitting on the right of me, I was sitting left, and I was looking at the phone. She's sitting right there. I'm like, hey baby. I'm talking to her on the phone. Hi honey. Hi. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Getting it ready. I was just testing it out, that's all. But yeah, the enemy, listen, the enemy will always feel he wins. But when you have God on your side and you put God on display and you represent his name, there is nothing that we cannot have, people of God. I'm sorry. Now, I don't look at this as a loss. You know, a lot of the stuff the enemy be doing, and we have to know, and I'm not trying to make this no spiritual thing, but a lot of stuff the devil be doing. The devil be busy. You know the devil be busy. The devil be busy, and he don't want us to prosper. He don't want us to be successful. He don't want us to be joyful. He want us to corroborate. What is it? Cooperate? Mm-hmm. He want us to cooperate. He want us to collaborate. That's what I was trying to. I mixed the two words together.
I was like,
OMG. Oh my goodness. I miss cooperate and collaborate together.
Cooperate. That's what you said.
I did. Made me sound like Boo Boo the Fool. What is really going on? What's wrong with your tongue and your brain together? Get it together, Curtis. Get it together. Okay, so they want us to, collaborate our thoughts, y'all, out here concerning this pandemic. They want us to think like them. They want us to see like them. But we cannot think like those who are in fear. We got to think on the lines of how God says fear is not of him. But we got to keep it pushing. It doesn't make us super powerful spiritually and, like we have it all together. But, we move in him. We move and have our being. That's how we roll, man. We roll just like that. In him we move and have our being. And because he lives in us, we are covered. We are covered. But I dropped a seed. I dropped a seed on that whole parking lot. I dropped a seed out there. The blood of Jesus. You're covered by the blood. I put Jesus out there. All right. I know it's gonna be more information that we gonna come across, and we're gonna keep y'all updated on how this gonna turn out. All right. So, but baby, don't be disappointed. I know, or frustrated. Little sexy, baby.
Stop it. Thank y'all for listening.
I'm just trying to keep the joy going. The joy of the Lord. We just got to keep it going.
Okay, guys.
All right. Well, listen. Yeah, we'll keep you updated. Thank you all for watching. All right, y'all pray for us out there, man. Thank you all for watching Armour and Sons. You know, please like, subscribe, and share these videos because people need to know what's going on. If you're in the California area, what's going on and how these hospitals are trying to enforce mothers to be in the room by themselves and separated from the father, and even talking about doing it around delivery time. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say that all the doctors in there ain't got the thing? Ain't got the thing. The Rona. They ain't got the Rona. Who's to say that? It's a crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? 6 feet. I'm tripping on this 6 feet. So when you take the baby, you ain't 6 feet. You ain't 6 feet away from my baby. What's really going on? Anyway, like, subscribe, share this video. Comment. Tell us what you feel. Tell us what you think. We want to hear from y'all. All right? All right.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Like the voices of Mally and Micah. Bye.